Hi, I'm Luke Killick, and this is my lovely wife, Tony, and we're with Granite Heights Winery in Opal, Virginia. And the wine that brought us here is Humility 2024, which, while not on the label, is 100% Lagrein grape. And if I accomplish one thing in this videotaping, it's actually pronouncing that name Lagrein, which is unusual, but we're about to make it more known in Virginia. Our vineyard is located in Opal, Virginia, between Culpeper and Warrington. And the elevation sea level wise is about 370. And we have, where the Lagrein is planted, some nice loam silt soil with a lot of rocks, quartz and shale. And all of that leads actually to what this grape likes and develops nicely. And as far as the vintage 2024, it was actually our second commercial harvest of the Lagrein grape. And so we're kind of tickled that we have what we think is a very special wine here. This Lagrein is very characteristic of the Lagrein wines you would find in its northern Italian location. So originally from the Alto Adige region. And Lagrein, our Lagrein and very good Lagrein typically has a very dark garnet color. Ours even has a little violet undertone to it. And with respect to the taste, aroma-wise, you get a nice burst of spice, sweet spices, and dark cherries, and that aroma continues onto the palate. It's a nice, soft, silky tannins, a beautiful velvet texture, and all of that in your mouth leads to a nice, long-lasting, memorable expression of that fruit and spice. And to me, tasting several Lagreins from Italy, we're just, again, pleased that this mimics what would be a very traditional Lagrein wine. For every wine we make, a good wine is made in the vineyard. My wife takes the lead in the vineyard. I take the lead in the winery. I think the growing season, which Tony will be happy to summarize, led to a nice wine as well as our vineyard, meticulous vineyard practices. Tony?
Well, like my husband always says, paraphrases, wine is like a weather report in a bottle. And each vintage, same grapes can be different depending on what the weather was like that year. So started rainy in May, but we were very careful with the grapes, took good care of them, gave them plenty of air for the flowers and the leafing part. Then it was a hot, dry summer, June through August. Then blessedly, Lagrein is an early ripening grape. So after checking the numbers and the taste, I was very happy with it around mid-September. So we harvested, luckily, right before late September hurricane. So it was a warm, dry vintage for the most part. So I think that made a big wine.
So if you look at what the wineries in northern Italy believe, they have characterized their growing area at elevations of around 400 below the Alps. They don't want to be too high because of the cold weather. They love rocky soil, and they also like soil that it has a little silt to it for drainage. So I think by God's blessing, we had that type of soil in the particular area that we planted Lagrein. And I also think we have babied it properly, meaning, as Tony said, good vineyard practices, dropping fruit to concentrate the fruit on the remaining flavor on the remaining fruit, and the necessary heat. The one thing that Lagrein growers in Italy talk about is they want sufficient heat. And Virginia, as you know, can give you that heat. And the only thing we want to play with is avoiding the rains. And I think 24 gave us the right amount of rain, and we picked before more rains came. Obviously, we're quite honored to be selected to be in the governor's case. And we are the winery. When we ask people, what is Granite Heights? It's really a ma and pa winery, probably one of the smallest in the Commonwealth. And so it shows that a couple with the right knowledge, the right skill, the right discipline, I believe can be on par with the big boys and girls out there with regard to their wineries. So I think it shows the dimension of the quality that exists in Virginia, from small winery to large winery. And as far as the wine itself, I think we're just, again, quite pleased that this grape Lagrein, it's probably the first time it's been in the Governor's Cup, in the Governor's case, and it hopefully will perk interest from other wineries to ponder this grape growing wise, and it could be hopefully the next grape that comes to Virginia. And really, it shows the versatility of the Virginia wine industry, that we can make not just Cab Franc or Viognier nice, we can actually take other grapes if they're treated right and produce what we think is a spectacular wine.